issues.
I've
And
officially
if
started.
at 8 o'clock the site's back up, then we'll continue on and start hearing the applicants. But if not, then we'll cancel the meeting. And I could, instead of canceling the meeting, just suspend the meeting, and then we could, if we all agree to that, and then we'll reopen it as soon as we can, as soon as practicable. All right, so the first administrative item on the agenda, we should deal with the minutes and see if anybody has any issues with the minutes.
Well, we still, I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm not super familiar with the procedural. We still call the meeting to order now and do roll
Yeah,
call?
I just did.
Oh, sorry.
So we know who's in attendance because I just did a head count, but let's do it again. Myself, Lee, Danielle, Tom, and Marilyn.
Mhm.
So we have 5 in attendance for a board of 5. And I have decided as chairman to readjust the agenda. We're going to deal first with administrative matters. And if by 8 o'clock we have connectivity with the city website, we'll continue on and deal with the applicants. If not, then we'll suspend the meeting until we have an opportunity to connect. So the first item up is the minutes. Down at item B, A. Let's see if anybody has any issues with the minutes.
Read through them. I have no issues.
Okay, I think they're a little sparse, but I'm not going to go into that. Anybody else have any issues?
No.
No, all right. So all in favor of the passing the minutes, I'm gonna make the motion. Lee, you want to second
I'll
it?
second the motion.
And all in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you very much. The next is the annual election. Annual election is held in November. We typically have held it at the end of the meeting, even though we did have a procedural change at one point to move it to the beginning of a meeting. The annual election has 2 steps to it. The first step is select a chairperson for the next year. And the second step is to elect a secretary, and the secretary actually functions like a vice chair as well as a secretary. In the first instance, the state law requires regular board members only to vote for the chairman. It's silent on who votes for the secretary or vice chair. And, you know, some CBAs do have a vice chair. It's silent on that. So I include anybody who's present, regardless of whether you're a regular member or not, on voting on the vice chair. So with regard to that, who wants to throw their name in for the chairmanship?
Andy, I'd like to renominate you. I think.
I was going to nominate you.
And I was going to refuse it.
All right. I was going to suggest that if you're waiting until you're healthy, I would be willing to step aside a couple months down the road and let you become chair, and I'd swap with you basically. If we re-elected you as secretary / vice.
Well, that I would be very willing to do. My health is improving. One day I'll actually be able to get out and walk again.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So, Andy, I accept your concept.
The proposal. Okay. With that in mind, I intend to nominate you as secretary / vice chair as soon as we finish with the chairman. So if I'm nominated, is there a second?
I'll second that.
You can't.
No.
Danielle,
That's
yeah,
okay.
you could do.
I
you could
muted.
do the
I'll second
secretary,
it.
but not the chairman. Danielle did. All right. So if anybody's recording this, Danielle seconds. Let's say all in favor, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
All right, so there we are. Okay, with the proposal that I have in mind, which is I'd like to take a break at some point. So when Lee is feeling well, we'll swap. And that means I need to get Lee elected as secretary again. If nobody objects, I'm going to nominate him. Now, that kind of moves other people out of the running that might have an interest. Did I cause that to happen? And was there somebody else that was interested in running for secretary?
Not I.
All right. Tom, you're voting on this one.
I'll
So
vote, yeah.
all in favor of Lee as secretary, assuming that Marilyn has just seconded it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I know. I have to eke these things out sometimes. So all in favor, say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
So thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, I think a couple of months down the line, we'll kind of reassess, and if you're ready to roll, then let's
Yeah.
swap.
Right now, the only rolling I'm doing is in my wheelchair.
And anybody at any time, if you want to say that you don't particularly love that concept, just let us know. With that, the administrative part of the meeting is pretty much done. We could talk about training briefly. Do we have any progress on that? Like how to set up training for folks starting in January?
We're waiting for an entity, I forget what it is. It's maybe the Connecticut Planners Association. They're working on a framework of suggested program and how, dates and all that. So it's
Well,
definitely,
there was already a framework for doing training. It just wasn't so regularized.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, because we can't let that, I know how things slip through the cracks, and because I've been in government long enough to see it happen. And I don't want this slipping through the crack. All of a sudden we got 30 days and then everybody's got to get trained. Let's not get stuck like that.
Right.
And
And truly-
Tammy, I'll be very willing to work with you on this, as it says in the minutes.
Good.
Yeah. Well, I was waiting for you to say, well, now that you're going to be secretary, guess what you get to do?
So,
We'll talk about that, Andy.
so actually, I think you guys could consider the extension of time because that's not a public hearing.
Doesn't require a public hearing?
No.
We
All
wonder.
right. All right, let's do it then. Let me look at the item on the agenda. Why am I not seeing it?
It's with the action items. If it's included with that. Roman numeral 4.
Okay, Academy Street. No, yes,
Yes.
all right, so that item is moved. Is the applicant with us?
Here. My name's Kathleen Poirier. I'm the representative for 7 Academy Street, the George
Okay.
Washington Carver Center.
And could you tell me just briefly what you've accomplished to date in order satisfying the, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I mean, we've fulfilled filing for the variance, and we've accomplished a majority. I'm the architect. I have most of the architectural work done. I've got my mechanical, electrical, and plumbing people almost ready for approval for filing, as well as my structural engineers, the kind of the farthest behind. And I have the survey is obviously done because it was done for the variance, and I have some civil work done. So I'm very close, actually. And if
You're filing for a permit, right?
we're filing for permit, correct? Yes. And I do anticipate it happening probably beginning of December, because next week is Thanksgiving, and it tends to, people can't quite get things together. But, so I'm very close to being ready. However, the deadline for being permitted is for us is December 13th. And if I were to begin filing at the beginning of December, we wouldn't be accomplished to get all the way through permits by the December 13th, I don't believe, just with the schedule of the city officials.
Do you
So,
think you need 6 months or do you need 3 months?
well, I was just advised by Tammy to request 6 months because that was typical, she said.
It is, but it isn't typical that we grant it. With respect to the 3 months, can you handle it in 3 months or is that not enough time?
That's enough time. I could handle it. We could
All right,
handle it.
So I'm gonna move that we grant a 3-month extension. I don't think we need to drag this out. Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion?
I have no problem with 3 months.
All right, anybody else want to jump in, discussion? With that in mind, all in favor, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye, aye. I think that's everybody. I don't have everybody on screen at the moment.
Yeah, I
If
think
it's
we have
not-
unanimous.
If
Yeah.
it's not, speak up. All right, we're good. And we're 1 minute from 8 o'clock, and I'm gonna see if the norwalk.org website comes up on my other computer. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna suspend the meeting as long as you guys agree to that, and we'll meet again at the earliest practical date. And it won't be Thanksgiving.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
We're waiting, we're opening it up in case somebody wants to come in and listen or object. Is that correct?
Yeah, if somebody is coming a little late to the party but still is allowed to come into the meeting, and let's say this is a physical meeting, somebody could attend and we can say, does anybody object or want to say that they favor this? And then they would stand up and speak. In this case, they'd come in on Zoom and tell us what they thought. If we
Well,
block them, we could be sued by them, and there are plenty of lawsuits in the past that have a nature that's not dissimilar for having blocked them. So
Well, my thought is because we're all here and we can present, and because this is recorded, we
no,
can-
no, you can't, because they're not here to hear your presentation.
but they could hear the recording. They could watch the recording and then we could suspend this for like a final approval. I'm just saying
I
how
don't
the.
think it works
No,
that way.
tell me what, no,
Oh.
tell me why you want to do it. I mean, you might have a legitimate reason, like
Oh,
you're going to
because-
Bermuda for 6 months. I don't know.
No,
Wait.
just as we're approaching the holidays, I am traveling and I'm thinking with family and I have 4 kids. And if you call a meeting at a certain time and I don't have the opportunity to present everything the way I have it ready to go tonight, I'm sitting here and I thought maybe we can all present it, and because it's recorded, we can offer that and then extend a moment where anyone that missed the meeting, we can all come back in later at a later date with anybody else that might object to see if they're here.
But here's an issue. If you knew that you were going to come back in, if someone were to ask a question that's very pertinent and say, well, how are you dealing with XYZ? And you then would have to reply to them. That would not be part of your presentation tonight. So you'd have to be able to handle that remotely, however the heck you do
Yeah,
it.
that's okay with me. I mean, that's not the meat of everything that I have ready to go tonight. It would be answering a question, so.
Well, let's see how
I'm
the group
brainstorming.
feels. I don't have a problem listening to your presentation, having it recorded and having it available. That isn't an issue for me at all. But you do have to be able to accommodate somebody that would start to ask questions. And so if we were to reopen the hearing or continue the hearing down the road, then what has to happen is you've got to be there and you've got to answer the questions, or your representative there and answering the questions. With that in mind, does anybody object to hearing the presentation?
I do.
Barb,
I do.
you do.
I really think that we have done our administrative business and we've made the decision not to go forward with the main body of the meeting because it's, not available to the public. it would be like locking the doors at City Hall and not allowing somebody to come in and listen to a presentation and present their particular point of view.
Yeah, I don't agree with you only because they do have the opportunity to get the link ahead of time. And in fact, they're encouraged to do so, but we always have people to join late. That's the nature of life. And if they were to join late, then I do believe it's proper and appropriate to accommodate them. I just think we could accommodate them if we had the recording.
I don't know that the recordings are automatically uploaded. I don't, it used to be there was a lag between getting, what's recorded here and getting that uploaded to YouTube. It used to be several days. I don't know if that's improved or not, to be honest.
Right.
So that would be
All
my.
right, well, that you made up my mind. Then no, we can't hear her tonight. Because I would need the recording available.
Yeah, I mean, I can't guarantee that. So yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Kelly.
Thank you. Just brainstorming.
So that there is no record that would be available for review. There is no point in conducting the hearings, and I have checked and double checked that the website is up and available, and it's not. And I'm going to want to know the reason why. I'm not going to let this one slide. Just so it's clear, Tammy, we're going to want to know from
Yep.
whoever the hell's in
To my
charge of
knowledge,
Sun
this is
Sea.
the first time our website has been down, to my knowledge, but I mean, I don't know. Lucky us.
Yeah, okay. There's some of social media out there. I'm surprised that we don't use that to make information available. I know the 6th Tassing District does. It publishes using social media, and therefore anybody can get the link and see information for a meeting. And we could improve ourselves by accommodating that. So with that in mind, I'm sorry that we weren't able to hear the applicants tonight. I apologize. And we will let you know as soon as that we can offer the meeting continuance. With that in mind, I'm going to suggest that we recess the meeting until we can find an available date and have connectivity with the city website. Is there anybody that would second that?
I'll second it.
And all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Even though we don't like it, that's it. All right. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate everybody taking the time. And again, I want to know the damn reason. So being pleasant about it. Have a good evening.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Amen, this thing.